Hello everyone, Blade Bananas here. Welcome back. This video will be the finale of our Road to Legend series that we started just less than a week ago, where we started to climb from 1700 MMR and we're able to hit our 3000 MMR range again for the second time this season with less than a week. So it's definitely very exciting. I think it took around 31 sets to finally do it. So that's effectively 1300 points gain just within 13 sets. So 31 sets. So this is definitely really exciting for me. I couldn't do it with Empoleon the first time because I did it in Master League. But this time around, I could finally play Empoleon, which is one of my favorite Pokemon. And yeah, I brought out a double steel line for my final push with Empoleon in the back and Registeel as a bait to bait out the counters to Empoleon. And then with Mandibuzz with Air Slash so that we can handle the fighters. So this game we saw a Froslass Lead. I caught a Avalanche on my Registeel and then we baited out this Whiscash, which is very dangerous for my backline, right? So I'm very happy to be able to bait it out. And they threw some energy against my Registeel here. So I could bring out my Mandibuzz hoping to take out this Whiscash. I'm really trying to get rid of this Whiscash so that my Empoleon doesn't have to play against it. We're able to tank a Blizzard because Mandibuzz is an absolute tank. And then we're coming with Empoleon. We have 2 shields, they have 2 shields. Empoleon is generally pretty great against Froslass in the 2 shields because you just have to shield twice. They can't double bait and get to the Shadow Ball, right? And then you can potentially farm down after shielding this move here. We shielded bait. This time we shielded the Shadow Ball because they know they can't get to another one. But they ended up having a Nidoqueen. So I miscounted here. I thought they're at 6, which means they're going to need 2. So I do 1 Waterfall hoping to catch it. But apparently they did 7. So they must have snuck in an extra Poison Jab. Which was a little bit unfortunate because I really thought I was going to catch it. But yeah, it was definitely a winnable game. But as you guys can see, our ELO was around 2850 at this point because I started this game. I started my push with 2800 ELO. I did some offline battles and I was able to climb there. So yeah, this is when I started recording. But I was running this team to kind of test it out. So in this game we landed a Mew Lead, which is good. They swapped into Nidoqueen, which we're able to farm down with our Empoleon after chipping down with Foul Play, and then coming with Obstagoon. I recognize that I can get to 2 water Hydro Cannons, so I decided to actually shield the first cross chop because I'm looking to get 2 shields here. If I could get the shields, Reggie can one-shot this Obstagoon with Focus Blast. They're actually low enough where they probably die to a Flash Cannon anyways, right? Let's see. So they still have a Mew in the back. I still have a shield remaining. I just need to take out this Obstagoon. I threw this Foul Play because I didn't want them to catch, and they tried to catch, so they caught a Foul Play instead of Air Slash. So that was why I decided to go for the Foul Play there. And here we just need to land this Flash Cannon. We shield a move in case it's an overheat or something. We take out the Mew, and now we just need to get to a Flash Cannon. They can't get to double cross chop to take me out before I get to my Flash Cannon. Even if they do, I think they probably die to my Air Slash on my Mandibuzz, right? So yeah, this game over. Next up, Mandibuzz versus Tropius, which is really good lead. But I have another counter to Tropius in the back, and then coming with Beedrill, which is a potential core breaker for my backline if they're able to bait and get to the drill run. But Mandibuzz is a very solid counter, so I'm just going to stay in here because I have a good counter to the Tropius in the back with my Registeel, right? So all I have to do is make sure that I win swap. Reggie can handle the Tropius, and hopefully my Empoleon can handle whatever they have in the back. Let's see. So they have a Castform, which is not great for me. Really great counting by my opponent, CMP tying me on this move, but I just have to avoid the Tropius matchup with my Empoleon, and then my Reggie could probably sweep this game anyways, right? So they no shield my move, which is fine. I decided to shield once here, because I still need to take out this Castform. And then my opponent swaps into Tropius, we get a little bit of lag, but this is still a really solid matchup. Reggie resists everything, and yeah, we're able to win that game. Next up we have Golbat, which is not bad a lead for Mandibuzz, because we do resist a Shadow Ball, right, which is their nuke move. And Poison Fang we are able to tank very easily. And here, let's see, they just go for straight Poison Fang, which makes sense. They want to lower my defense. I go for this Foul Play. Does not take out the Golbat, but it's fine. I outpace them to the next move. I go for this Foul Play, and we get a shield, which is really good for me. I think I just let this go, and then probably farm this down with Registeel, because I want to get more farm. If I come in with my Empoleon, I was only going to get one Waterfall, but with Registeel, I could do a lot more lock-ons. And then they come in with Obstagoon, which is actually perfect for me, because they're down a shield, and all I have to do is get to two Focus Blasts, and we should almost get there, but I anticipated a swap from my opponent, so I held on to my energy, and we see a Jellicent coming in, so it's a good thing that we didn't throw. So here we just need to land 2 Drill Pecks. We do have the shield advantage. Let's see. I land 1, and then the second one we CMP on the move, and I'm actually going to stop attacking here because I don't want my opponent Obstagoon to get any energy, right? And then I got low enough where I just lock on down. I wanted to simultaneously KO, but it didn't happen, which is fine. And then I just need to land the Focus Blast that we stored earlier to finish off the Obstagoon. Next up, we have Drifblim. This is actually a okay matchup for the Drifblim on my opponent's side, because we don't have Snarl. If we had Snarl, this is definitely a terrible matchup for my opponent, right? But because we have Air Slash, my opponent could actually stay in here and chip me down quite a bit. So I think I will actually swap here because I don't want to get debuffed too much. And they come in with Sableye, which makes sense because Sableye is a big counter to, well, Sableye is loses very hard to Mandibuzz, right? And here I think I shield here because I don't think they get to another Foul Play before they actually do, so that's not great for me. But because I shielded the first time, I'm kind of committed to shielding there. And I go for a Hydro Cannon here. Let's see if we get a shield or take this out. We get another shield, but I must have lost track of their energy there because I really thought they were at least 2 away from the next move. And here I swap to catch the Icy Wind on my Registeel, and because they resist our lock-on, I was able to farm up quite a bit of energy on the Registeel, which is really good for me. They come in with Sableye. I'm just going to take this out, and then hopefully I could beat whatever they have in the back, and they have a Mandibuzz. So this is actually kind of tricky because we're debuffed. Usually you just have to land 2 Focus Blasts, and you should be able to lock on down this Mandibuzz. But because we're debuffed, this is much trickier. So what I'm going to do is almost build up to a Focus Blast and then swap out, I believe. Oh, I didn't build up to a move. That's actually a huge mistake. I should have really built up to a move before doing this. But let's see what happens here. I go for this Aerial Ace. I'm doing much more damage with my Air Slash because it's not resisted by opponent Mandibuzz, and we resist their Snarls. So this very dangerous spot for us, but we just barely KO each other there, and we barely take that game. Alright, very close. Next up we have Castform. I think at this point we're like 2880 elo, so we're definitely within strike range of getting Legend. Let's see, they have a Fortress Lead, which is I think that was a swapping. So I come in with my Empoleon here because it's a pretty solid answer to Fortress, and I believe I actually don't shield here, calling a bait, and we called the bait correctly. It was just a mirror shot, and because they baited, I could safely shield here and then just farm this Fortress all the way down, which is a really good situation for me. I believe I didn't shield because I wanted to avoid the Castform with my Empoleon anyways. But they come in with the Castform. Actually swap out here into my Mandibuzz, and then we see a Charm user in the back. I was able to deny a Charm here, which is really huge because that allows me to get to another Air Slash right here, or Aero Ace. And this is going to do quite a bit of damage, but my opponent decided to shield. So here I think I come in with the Empoleon, hoping to catch, well, hoping to let my opponent throw their energy, which is exactly what I wanted. So we're able to do that, and then we come in with Reggie. I'm going to overfarm a little bit, and then we go for this Flash Cannon to take out the Wigglytuff. And now all we have to do is land a Focus Blast. I actually no-shield the first move in case it's a Weather Ball, but the game was pretty much over there anyways. Next up, Obstagoon Lead. So it's obviously really bad for my backline, so I'm going to stay in here. If you had Snarl here with Mandibuzz, this is a really bad matchup for Mandibuzz. But because we have Air Slash, so it's not that terrible. They come in with Nidoqueen, I come in with Empoleon. I think I make a mistake here by not shielding. Okay, I actually called the bait, which is pretty interesting. But we fake CMP Tide, so that's really terrible. So I don't get any more energy. But my opponent threw energy here with the Obstagoon, so I think we're in an okay spot. Because this could be a double poison in the back, and if they have another poison, my Registeel can usually handle the other steel type, right? So here we CMP tie on the charge move. Crush Hop doesn't do that much damage, and the Aero Ace also doesn't do that much damage, but our Air Slash is definitely chipping it down. And then they had a Froslass in the back. So this game is still pretty dangerous. I should have really shielded the first move because they usually don't bait the first move. Yeah, so now they can go for a straight Avalanche, which is only one less Powder Snow, so it's not that big of a deal, but still the damage was pretty significant. So now we got two shields. I just have to watch out for my opponent catch. And I'm anticipating a sack swap right here, so I don't think I will throw right away, and we do see the sack swap coming in with the Obstagoon. So now I go for this, we farm down the Obstagoon, and then we just Flash Cannon to take the game. Next up, Hypno. This is a very good lead, so I'm going to stay in and see what my opponent does. My opponent swaps into Obstagoon, which is the biggest counter to my backline. So obviously I'm just going to stay in here all the way. And just play this out. You actually win this matchup in the zero shields because you have Air Slash now. And I doubt that the Obstagoon will shield. If they end up shielding, it's also fine because they're usually low enough where you could farm down with your backline. So here my opponent got 3 counters when I only did 1 Air Slash, which was a little bit interesting. So here I didn't want to get farmed down, so I just swapped into my Empoleon, and I'm looking to get all the farm that I could. Which is 4 waterfalls, so it's almost to a move, which is pretty good. They come in with Hypno. I have loaded energy, so I'm unloading these Hydro Cannons on this Hypno. I believe I actually shield here because I recognize that I could farm down this Hypno, and I have quite a bit of energy on Empoleon, and it's usually not wasted on Empoleon. And let's see, they have a Wigglytuff in the back, so it's already game over because we have another Steel type waiting in the back, right? So I go for this Hydro Cannon, and I probably swap into my Reggie, and my opponent decides to surrender right here. Yep, good game to my opponent. Another Obstagoon Lead, which is good if they decide to stay in, right? But most of the time, 90% of the time, they will stay in because Obstagoon generally beats a Mandibuzz, right? But we do have Air Slash, so we have a lot more play against a Obstagoon. Obviously, we're going to play this out in the zeros. Again, we're not going to shield anything. We're just looking to chip down this Obstagoon or get shields. And now, as you guys can see, this is the matchup, how it plays out in the zeros. We get to 2 Air Oasis. I actually swap out trying to farm it down. There was a little bit of lag. I think we both thought of the same thing. But yeah, so they come in with a Froslass. I come in with my Reggie, which is kind of what I would have gone anyways if I didn't swap. Excuse me. So they shielded once. I think I let the second one go, but it was a Shadow Ball. I was hoping that they would go for Avalanche, which would survive at that point. So here we have to shield our Empoleon, but it's probably a bait. It doesn't feel good to shield that. And then we barely weren't able to farm down the Froslass. A little bit unfortunate, but they come in with Golbat, and then they make another perfect catch on their low health Obstagoons. This game was looking really good, and it looked like there was almost no way for me to lose, but I keep making these misplays. And now I swap to give my opponent extra energy, but fortunately we do win CMP, and we barely survive a Shadow Ball because they are not Shadow. If they are Shadow, we would have lost this game. So yeah, a lot of misplay on my side, and we end up still winning. And here we are really close, right? We're at 29-55. So we're definitely in range of Legend Push. And this was only day 6. And I had 2 more sets remaining at this point for day 6. So here we have a Froslass Lead. Last time I caught it on their Avalanche, but this opponent is playing differently. He said not to throw Avalanche right away, and then he was able to land a Shadow Ball on my Registeel, which is really good for my opponent. And then they have probably one of the biggest core breaker for my team, which is Unova Stunfisk. It pretty much beats my entire line because I don't have Snarl on my Mandibuzz, and Empoleon is probably the only decent answer to this Unova Stunfisk on my side. So I'm just gonna sack my Mandibuzz at this point. I think my mistake was not staying in the lead matchup versus the opponent, unfortunately. So here we're taking a lot of damage. My opponent actually caught the move on the Mandibuzz. I'm pretty much recognizing that there's no way for me to win this game, and I think I surrender after I realize that. Yeah, so I shield this second foul play, but they still have 2 really healthy Pokemon in the back. I go for this Hydro Cannon, and they were able to get another move, so I just decided to let this game go because I really don't see a way for me to win. And then my opponent went for Mud Bomb here. Yeah, wanted to stall the game a little bit longer. Thank you, opponent. Next up, let's see. So this set, I didn't do well, right? If I did well this set, I would have said, you know, we hit Legend again within 6 days. But that's not what happened. So obviously we didn't do well in the set. Just spoilers alert. So here they come in with Lantern. This time I stayed in against a Froslass, and I kind of anticipated they would swap to catch. So we held on to our energy. They swap into Lantern, which again is a Pokemon that kind of beats my entire team. But that's what happens, right? When you have a team, sometimes it loses to a lot of Pokemon in the meta. So in this case, we lose to Lantern pretty hard. I still have energy on my Mandibuzz, so I come in here and I'm just trying to take out this Lantern because it's a very big counter to my back line, right? And they had a Diggersby in the back, so I have to call the Fire Punch because they have energy on. They could just go for Shadow Ball if I decide to shield here, and I will lose this game, right? But my opponent realized he could just go for a straight Fire Punch, and eventually I have to shield the Fire Punches because the Mush Shots will take me out. And my opponent shields the Diggersby because they know they could get to another Fire Punch here. And that's pretty much, there really isn't much I can do because my opponent got to another Fire Punch. Yeah, Diggersby is a good matchup against Empoleon, by the way. Even though it's a ground type versus a water type. But because our secondary steel typing, the ground type Mush Shots are doing too much damage, right? Which is fine. Next up, we're against Poliwrath. I think this might be the only game we win in this set. They come in with Froslass. Again, Reggie is a pretty decent counter. If you swap fast against a Froslass, then you should be able to get to 3 Flash Cannons before they get to 4 moves. Because they need 4 moves in order to take out the Registeel when you have 2 shields, right? I will start shielding this one, which was a Shadow Ball, so it was like a shield by me. And now they probably go for a straight Avalanche, but we got another shield, And I'm definitely trying to maintain swap because Poliwrath is such a good matchup against my Empoleon. And here we got to the move just one turn before my opponent got to the Avalanche. So it was super close, and we barely won that matchup. And that was really huge for me because now we could avoid this Poliwrath. And I landed Focus Blast to do a lot of chip damage against the Poliwrath. And now I come in with my Mandibuzz. Because it has Air Slash, so this is a pretty decent matchup. We tank the Hydro Pump, no problem. And then they have a Dewgong in the back, which is terrible against Empoleon, because we do double resist the Ice type moves, and then we single resist the Water Pulse, right? So I could just stay in here and do as much damage as I can. I just need this Dewgong out of here, and then this game is pretty much over. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just gonna land the go for Drill Peck right away when I get to them. So that I don't get debuffed, I don't throw debuff moves, right? And then my opponent swaps into Poliwrath, but it doesn't really matter that much because we have our swap as well into our Mandibuzz, and then we farm down the Poliwrath, we survive the Dynamic Punch, I go for this Foul Play to take out the Dewgong, and it was game over. Next up, Ninetales. Ninetales is pretty tough for my backline. Reggie, right? It's pretty tough for my Reggie. So here, I'm going to stay in here. They go for the Weather Ball, which hits decently hard, even to a Mandibuzz. I'm not going to show the second one. I think I'm trying to win this lead matchup. I'm going to go for a double Foul Play, and if they shield the second one, I believe I will swap out. Actually, I will swap out regardless because I have ABB line anyways, right? And it turned out they had a Mandibuzz and a Melmetal in the back. Melmetal is actually a really tough Pokemon for me to deal with, and they could definitely win this game with just a Melmetal. And I think that might be what my opponent did here. Let's see. So here, Mandibuzz, again, this is a pretty decent matchup. I could go for Focus Blast, and then I can just farm this down. Almost farmed this down. My opponent had pretty good IVs. Usually they will be much lower here. So here I make a misplay. I think I should have gone into my Mandibuzz, but then I will get farmed down. So it's very hard to tell what was the right play. But my opponent can definitely get to 3 superpowers. I'd actually go for a bait first, which was kind of my win condition at that point, calling a bait. But I wasn't able to call it. And now my opponent gets to double superpower, and then the second superpower will definitely take me out. Yeah, and then that would be game over because my Mandibuzz is really low at this point. I need to catch a move right here would also be my win condition, but again, I wasn't able to catch it, so now they outpace me with the Melmetal against my Registeel, and now yeah, this is game over. And my opponent was able to sweep with the Melmetal. Really well played by my opponent. It looked like a good matchup for me, but my opponent was able to somehow come on top, right? So here my opponent comes in with Whiscash when they had Charizard Lead. So now I'm thinking I need to win swap so that my backline avoids the Charizard. My Registeel avoids the Charizard. But I don't have a good answer to this Whiscash, so I have to I have to stay in here with my Mandibuzz. And I think I should shield this one, but I didn't shield. So I really needed a swap here, I think. But I thought they were going to go for Mud Bombs after the first Blizzard, but my opponent went for straight Blizzard. So it was good for my opponent. And it looked like if we had swap, we could probably win this game. But again, Froslass is really dangerous with 2 shields, right? If I want swap, then Froslass probably comes in and farm me down, and then they can beat any of my Pokemon with the Froslass at that point. So it was still a very tough line for me to deal with. And here we barely able to take out the Froslass. And here my win condition is for my opponent to not sneak a fast move, but my opponent did sneak a fast move. So now I couldn't get to the second Hydro Cannon. Even when we did, we probably lose to CMP anyways, and then I come in with my Reggie, and this is pretty much game over. I will top left when they get to the Blast Burn, and yeah, that was definitely game over at that point. Alright, so we went down to like 29-17, I don't know if you guys saw, but we went down to 2917, but that's fine. We're gonna start fresh from here. We see another Obstagoon Lead, which is not great for my backline. Again, fortunately, they usually stay in against a Mandibuzz, so I just have to try to take this out, or do as much damage as I can. We go for another Cross Chop. I go for Aerial Ace right here, and this will we just play out the 0 shields. I think I swap into my Registeel, hoping to farm down this Obstagoon. Yep, that's what I do, because I know they can't get to another Cross Chop, so now I have some energy with my Registeel. And then they come in with Golbat. So I know, at this point, I know whatever they have in the back is definitely weak to my Registeel. And a very common line is Obstagoon double poison, as we've seen before. Yeah, or it could be something like a Froslass in the back, right? And it doesn't matter if they're weak to my Registeel. Most of the time, they're also weak to my Empoleon in the back. So I'm still okay here. Now I tank the Shadow Ball, I swap into my Empoleon, and they do have a Froslass in the back, which we definitely beat with 2 shields on our Empoleon at this point. Doesn't matter how many times they bait, we just need to land a single move, go for a Hydro, and then we probably could just kill it with the Drill Peck here. And yeah, that's a game over. And it's looking good in a new set, right? We're slowly climbing back. So I think this game is where I misplay. I should have stayed in here against a Abomasnow instead of swapping to my Registeel. And we also get a lot of lag where we didn't really get any fast moves during the lag, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's okay. They have a really good counter, Jellicent, against my Registeel, which is a little bit unfortunate. But let's see what we can do here. I'm trying to chip it down with my Flash Cannons. I think I should really try to swap out, or if I could, maybe I should shield the Shadow Ball. But I think my biggest mistake in this game was not staying in against the Abomasnow as my Mandibuzz. Because my Mandibuzz has Air Slash, and I could play out in the 0 shields, and I could do a lot of damage with the Aerial Ace, right? But yeah, I think that's what I should have done. And here my opponent had loaded energy on this Abomasnow. They go for the Weather Ball. I go for this Aerial Ace because I really wanted to do some damage or get the shield. So now I'm going to swap out into my Empoleon, and then had a Castform in the back. So I know this was game over. I can't take out this Castform and the Abomasnow. Alright, next game we are against a Diggersby. My opponent is staying in, so this tells me they have something really weak to my Mandibuzz in the back. Which is a pretty good sign for me. My opponent goes for a straight Fire Punch, and my opponent doesn't even have Hyper Beam, so yeah, my opponent definitely has something extremely weak to Mandibuzz. And that's the reason why I always build up to 2 moves before I throw one of them. So I'm always building up to 2 foul plays before I'm throwing some energy, just in case my opponent swaps into something, and my Mandibuzz could definitely hit back against them, right, with the second charge move ready. So here they just go for straight Fire Punch, and I think I'm looking to farm this all the way down, and I should be able to tank 2 more Fire Punch from here, so I'm pretty confident in my farm down here. I have to swap here in case they try to snipe me, and I'll save 2 moves, and that's exactly what happened. My opponent tried to snipe me down with the Quillfish, but we got out of here. We got out of there with our Mandibuzz with 2 moves stored. So that's really good for me. Those 2 moves could really come in handy in the end game, right? And here, Quillfish is not a bad matchup for my Registeel, because obviously, even though they charge up really fast, the Aqua Tails don't do that much damage, and we resist the fast moves. They do like 1 damage to Registeel. Here we go for Flash Cannon. Again, we take out their Pokemon, and then they do have a Jellicent in the back, and they swapped. I think that was a misplay by my opponent. It gave me 1 extra waterfall, so it allowed me to catch up against this Jellicent, which had an energy lead. And here I know they're 3 away from the next move, so I will not throw right away. I will throw at 3 right here, hoping to CMP tie. But my opponent built up extra energy here before they decide to take out my Empoleon right here. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna save a shield for my Mandibuzz, and I have 2 moves stored, so I just need to land 2 foul plays. I waited the clock in case they sneak a Hex, in which I have to swap out. So I swap out here just in case they got an extra move, right? because I want to ensure I can land the second foul play on this Jellicent. And we actually had timer up, and then Reggie also got to the Flash Cannon to take on my opponent. Next up, Dewgong is terrible for me, so I swap immediately into my Registeel. My opponent is staying in here, which tells me they probably don't have a hard counter to me, and then we CMP tie on the first charge move. Maybe my opponent just wanted to debuff me before swapping out, and we landed a Focus Blast, which was really good. And it turned out they had a Sableye in the back, so I was really confused because Sableye is generally a really good answer to Registeel, but my opponent didn't swap out right away. So I was able to chip down both of their Pokemon, and now our switch timer was pretty desynced, so I swapped back into my Mandibuzz here, and I'm going to try to farm the Sableye all the way down before they're able to get out of this matchup with their Dewgong. Let's see, we take it out, and then they're coming with Dewgong most likely, and I will throw this foul play, hopefully grab a shield while we take this Dewgong out. And they didn't shield, so I just barely farmed down, and they died with a move. And then they come in with a Nidoqueen with 2 shields, but we have Empoleon with Waterfall Pressure, and then we won the game with 2 shields remaining on both sides. And I had 3 Pokemon. Next up, we have Dragonair. Dragonair is pretty decent matchup for all 3 of my Pokemon. It probably beats Empoleon though, unfortunately, but my opponent shielded a foul play, which was pretty interesting to me. So I will tank the Dragon Pulse and I will swap out, hoping to bait out a counter. And then they have a Nidoqueen, which is not an answer to Registeel, right? So I land a Flash Cannon, and I believe I don't shield this move. I called a Poison Fang, and Earth Power wouldn't have KO'd me there anyways. So here I decide to shield because I know I get to the Flash Cannon. So even if I shield a bait, I could take this out, or I get I get another shield, right? So we end up getting another shield, which is really good for me. And here I'm just going to let my Reggie go down and then farm down with my Empoleon. But we end up getting a big lag, and I think my opponent, the damage didn't register, and we got a 3rd shield. So it was bad for my opponent, but I don't think it really mattered at that point because we had an energy lead with our Empoleon, right? Alright, so we went back to 2969, and that was the end of day 6. But when midnight crossed, I decided to just do one more set in day 7 because I really wanted to hit Legend again, before within a week. So I decided to play here. I played one game that I didn't record, but I won that one, so I'm 1-0 in this set. I need a 4-1 to hit Legend right here. And the second game, I got pretty countered in the lead because I don't have Snarl. If I had Snarl, then that would be a really good matchup against the Empoleon with my Mandibuzz. So I tried to catch a Hydro Cannon, which I didn't do successfully. They have a Tropius, which answers my good answer to my to my Empoleon. And then I take out this Tropius, and let's see what they have. They're probably coming with Empoleon, and we couldn't even get to a move. And my opponent had 2 Hydro Cannons stored, so I just decided to leave the match. So now we're 1-1, and I need to win 3 more games to win this, to get to Legend again. So we had a pretty good lead against Jellicent. My opponent safe swaps into Lapras. I have a pretty good answer with my Registeel. There was another really big lag. I think it was Go Fest. Speaking of that, I hope everyone had a good Go Fest there. Everyone had a great Go Fest, I really hope. So here we took out the Lapras, we maintained swap advantage, and then I'm able to land this Flash Cannon. I'm just going to let my opponent to farm me down because I can't let my Empoleon face up against this Jellicent, right? I will have to tank an Ice Beam, which is okay. Let's see, I stay in here, and then I go for this foul play, hoping to grab a shield while we take out this Jellicent. And then they had the Melmetal in the back. So I really hope my opponent doesn't shield this. If they don't shield, I can Waterfall all the way down, and I can 2-shield through this Melmetal. So that's very important for me. I got Waterfall, extra Waterfall here, which didn't really matter at this point because they took the foul play. And yeah. And we're able to take that game. If my opponent didn't shield if my opponent shielded the foul play, that matchup might have been different. Alright, next up we're against Mandibuzz, but we have Air Slash, so we should be able to win this matchup generally. just because we have Air Slash. They do have Snarl, which means they hit these aerial aces a little bit faster, but we just have a lot more fast move pressure with our Air Slash, right? Let's see what happens here. I think I win this matchup, but very barely. So I always build up to 2 moves again, because if my opponent decides to swap, I could chip down with whatever against whatever they come in with. So here I go for an aerial ace, and I think I'm going to build up to 2 again, almost. Actually, I go for aerial ace here, but there was another big lag, unfortunately. So I'm going to try to catch a move here, which I was able to do barely. I caught an aerial ace, and then I'm looking to farm down. My opponent coming with Needle Queen again, which is, again, it's not a counter to Registeel, right? But that might be the best answer my opponent has. So it could be a Dark with double poison in the pack again. I don't shield the Earth Power because I just want to come in with my Empoleon and then farm down with 2 shields. My opponent blindly threw a move, so I'm calling it Poison Fang. I don't think they'll blindly throw Earth Power, right? So yeah, and then I'm able to farm down, and I still have 1 more shield remaining. They go for another Poison Fang, which is okay. Let's see, they have Cresselia in the back. I anticipated that they're going to try to catch a move, so I didn't throw any energy. And then I was able to get extra farm because they failed the sack swap, right? So now we go for a Hydro Cannon, double Hydro Cannon. My opponent doesn't shield because they know that I have energy on my Mandibuzz, which the Foul Play will do more damage. But because they didn't shield, I'm just gonna fast move down their entire team. And now I just need 1 more game to hit a 4-1, and that should bring us over 3,000 elo, right? So let's see. I have Mandibuzz against Fortress, which is a pretty good lead. Their fast move damage is pretty high, but we're just much tankier, and I think we should be able to win this matchup. They go for Mirror Shot, which doesn't do much damage. We go for this Foul Play, hoping to either grab a shield or take out this Fortress. Again, I will swap right now because we're running ABB team, right? And we bait out the best thing that we could have seen, which is a Unova Stunfisk, because Empoleon is really the only Pokemon on my side that can really deal against a Unova Stunfisk. So I'm going to double shield, I think. I'm not sure if I can farm this down, so I'm going to do 2 waterfalls and then actually throw immediately. I think I could have almost farmed this down, but I didn't want to take any chances. I just needed the Unova Stunfisk out of there. And then they come in with the Golbat, which I have pretty good answer for. My opponent caught it. Really well played by my opponent, but it doesn't matter at this point because I have another big answer with my Registeel. Even with double Shadow Ball, I don't think it's enough to take out my Registeel at this point. I was debating on going for Focus Blast for BM, but I decided to just take out my opponent there. And yeah, we're able to go 4-1, and this was the 31st set since we started to climb back, right? So after 31 sets, we're able to go from 1700 to 3000 with a bunch of different teams. So yeah, it was definitely very exciting. I had tons of fun climbing back, and this challenge made me you know, kind of thought about the climb to legend thing, and I think anyone could do it, you know. If you have the right mindset, you just have to keep learning, and eventually you could definitely do it. Yeah, and it was exciting for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this whole series as well. From now on, I'm probably going to try to hit the leaderboard again. Maybe I'll keep playing this team, maybe I'll bring some more interesting teams. And yeah, make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe for more. Comment below on what you guys want to see next, and I'll see you guys in my next video.